Afternoon, VC. Aris back again, and been a while. Turn my back on the VC for 5 minutes. All hell breaks loose. You know, I'm seeing videos. You know, is this a community or a war zone? Mental. I've no idea. England and America have turned on each other apparently, and can we not just use the power of music and get back together, guys? Can we not? Must this madness proceed? I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream. A song to sing. I believe in angels. Something good in everything I see. Now, it was at this point I was about to release 4 doves into the air as a sort of a gesture of futility to try and bring us all back together again. Then I get this letter from Southampton City Council. Dear Harris Pilton, vis-a-vis dove releasing. Unfortunately, we cannot allow this to proceed as it contravenes the Health and Safety Act 1980, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. It goes on. Oh, may we remind you of the Panda Wrestling Tournament you held in 2014. Well, that was for charity, so I don't know why they're harping on about that. And may I remind them, not one single panda died in that tournament intentionally. So can we just, guys, can we just not get back together? Can we all just not unite and turn on Canada? I'm only joking, Canada. No one's turning on Canada, not on my watch, not after last time. Remember that? It would be an explosion of Ponytails and Rush albums. It ain't happening. But I thought, what we did, the best of 1990, the year 1990, what a year it was. Crazy. The Stone Roses had broken big in the UK weekly press in '89. Grunge was a year away. Britpop was 3 years away, 4 years away. The music press was in a holding pattern. So I picked out what I feel are my best that I own. First up, Jordan the Comeback, Prefab Sprout. Well, I don't mind Prefab. It's got adult pop in it, really. They are, and does what I consider their greatest ever song. And I can't even remember what it's called now. I mean, Wild Horses is fantastic, but yeah, a fantastic tune, and fantastic album. Number 15. I'm doing a countdown. We all have a ranking. I've seen the comments. Everyone's up for rankings. I've seen it. But yeah, magnificent stuff. And yeah, We Let the Stars Go is another absolute beauty. Sort of a waltz time classic, and it's a beautiful tune. But I'm hit and miss with Prefab Sprout, but I think this is their greatest album. As many of these albums, because most of these are from the 90s. I bought in 1990. It's a long album and it's on one bit of vinyl, so it sounds a bit hit and miss. But yeah. Jordan the Comeback, Prefab Sprout, number 15. Number 14, talking to the UK music press, Nowhere by Ride. Obviously, the UK music press had kind of developed the Stone Roses into this huge band within the pages. It's the first time, really, the music press had managed that. Normally, there'd been, like, the Stone Roses didn't get any support from John Peel, and they'd become huge by 1990. And so the music press thought, we can probably invent more bands, and they sort of invented the Indie Monkeys with Ride, and this is Nowhere. Which is, it's a pretty good album. I remember buying it, and yeah, it's okay. Not as good as the EPs, as often happen. These indie bands would come out with these corking EPs, and then the albums would be a bit of a letdown. Does include probably one of the greatest indie songs of the 90s, of the 90s, which is Vapor Trail, which is, I used to have my Walkman on in the office at work and stare at this girl that I used to fancy and just play Vapor Trail and sort of go into this mad sort of John Hughes movie moment, which is fantastic. But Vapor Trail's an absolute killer. It's one of the greatest tunes. Certainly Ride's greatest tune in my opinion. But Nowhere by Ride, number 14. This is a kind of a twofer, and we've got Julie Cruise's Floated Into the Night. That's a promotional copy, not for resale. God knows how I got that. And also, she also sang on, and also there's some crossover here, the Twin Peaks soundtrack. And I remember when Twin Peaks came out, 1990, Rolling Stone magazine, they made a big deal about it, I remember. But I do enjoy this. I prefer the Julie Cruise album probably to Twin Peaks, maybe. It's hit and miss. Interchangeable, really, but sort of oozing cabaret, isn't it? Slightly surreal at times, and yeah, rather fantastic. And I do love all the. I've just played this a minute ago. It is fantastic, this Julie Cruz. But yeah, next up, I think this is number 12. This is a bit of a weird one. Cowboy Junkies, the Caution Horses. Side one's great. I hate Sunday. You know when people go, oh, Sunday morning albums. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't know, because music should always be disruptive, really. I like it. I like it when it sort of disrupts. I don't really want to chill out too much. But I think this is better than the Trinity sessions, actually. And side one's fantastic. Sun Comes Up, It's Tuesday Morning, 'Cause Cheap Is How I Feel. Also contains a fantastic cover of Powderfinger by Neil Young, which I think they do it justice. I think it's great. And I've forgotten the name of the lead singer on this. She's got a fantastic voice. Very 90s production, which I'm kind of starting to like now. But it always happens with production, doesn't it? You kind of hate it for a bit when you look back, and then it's a bit like the glam rock production. It kind of then becomes fashionable about 30 years later. But yeah, the Caution Horses by Cowboy Junkies. Side 2, don't bother. But just play side 1. You've got an EP on your hands. It's fantastic. Next up, I think we're at number 11. Who knows? Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted. Produced by the Bomb Squad, which was Public Enemy, essentially. And when this came out, I loved it. Absolutely love it. I mean, Ice Cube was angry, and I can see why. I used to listen to like NWA, Ice Cube, and think, why are they're always having to go at the police? Is it a gimmick? And then I watch these YouTube videos that are current, where the police, who have got body cams on and are always being filmed themselves, approaching people in cars, men and women, and even though they know they're being filmed, they're horrendous. I always think, what the hell was it like before camera phones? I can kind of sense why Ice Cube was angry. I can shudder at the thought of how bad it must have been growing up in Compton or LA. And probably being black probably put you on the back foot as well. And it must have been horrible. And I can see why they were angry. Decent album, loved it. The Bomb Squad production, but at this point, was becoming a bit, I don't know, it hasn't aged as well as maybe some other productions. But yeah, it's a great album. It's a really angry album, and again, it's one piece of vinyl. It's too bloody long. There's hundreds of tracks, interludes. But yeah, I prefer The Predator by Ice Cube, which I think is one of the great albums. It came out just after the Rodney King incident, I think, or around the time. It was almost like a CNN on vinyl. It's fantastic. But yeah, America's Most Wanted by Ice Cube, decent. Next up, I'm trying to show a CD, Chill Out by the KLF. What can you say about Chill Out? Came out in 1990, obviously. The KLF were about to become huge in Britain. They took over Britain in 91, 92. They had about 3 number 1s, 2 number 2s. They even roped in Tammy Wynette on one of their house tunes. They got her out of retirement. But this was the album they put out before, which is a 45-minute sort of surreal journey, one track, and it's meant to soundtrack a car journey along the Gulf states of America. So it sort of starts off at sort of the Tex-Mex border. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's not even ambient. It's just sort of soundscapes, and there's some house music stabs, and then it goes a little bit ambient. Then I don't know how they got a sign off for this, but Elvis Presley's in the ghetto, then comes in, and then it's brilliant. And then there's that Fleetwood Mac Albatross comes in. It's like listening. It's how I think if I was at 4 a.m. on the Mexican border, and I had a radio on that was tuning in and out. It's really a real surreal journey, and yeah, I think that's a homage to that Pink Floyd album as well, although it's not cows, it's sheep on this occasion. But yeah, a surreal, and like the best. I don't really like ambient albums much. They tend to bore me shitless. But this one's actually quite humorous as well, and it's brilliant. It's fantastic. Chill Out by the KLF. Of course, when the KLF were huge and then split up in 92 and then deleted all their back catalogue, so even the CD's hard to find now. If you want to buy the vinyl, you're looking at 200 notes. Bit of a cheat, this one, but a bit like Hatful of Hollow is my favourite Smiths album, and that's kind of a compilation of Peel sessions and odds and sods. This is my favourite Morrissey album, Bone of Drag. It's the singles, it's the B-sides. Some of the B-sides are even better. It's got opens with Piccadilly Polare, which was a B-side. That's fantastic. It's got Hairdresser on Fire on it, which was the B-side to Suede Head, which I think is one of his greatest moments. This is, apart from Your Arsenal, which came a couple of years after this is my favourite Mozza album, Bone of Drag. And I say it's a comp, but it's fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it. Next up, talking of the Bomb Squad. The Bomb Squad, this was the final great Bomb Squad moment. Fear of a Black Planet by the Public Enemy. Again, it's 60 minutes, it's one bit of vinyl, incredible. My theory on the Bomb Squad is any industrial bands, which I was never keen on industrial music that much, must have heard this and just given up and just thought, why are we even bothering? Because this is like industrial music that can get you on the dance floor. Stuff like Fear of Black Planet, Who Stole the Soul, Brother's Gonna Work It Out. It's just amazing. Welcome to the Terror Dome. 911 is a joke. I mean, the Bomb Squad were absolutely at their peak now. It's like so compressed, and it's angry, and it's just marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. I remember the day I bought this, I went out on a massive bender and left it in a taxi, and it was and they found it for me the next day. I was ringing around frantically, and they found it for me. So yeah, nice one. But yeah, Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. Next up, fantastic album this. Codine's Frigid Stars came out, obviously 1990. Came out on Sub Pop. There was an R Price in the middle of Southampton, opposite Burger King, if you know Southampton, next to what was the cinema. And I'd already bought Bleach from this R Price, the day of release or the week of release by Nirvana. And they were on a bit. They must have had someone who was into Sub Pop, because Codine's Frigid Star wasn't that well known. And I remember buying it in the morning on the way to work, and then looking up, and there was a 30-foot picture of Julia Roberts in a pink crop top and a miniskirt, because it was that film she was in. I can't remember. That came out in '99. What was that film? It was Slippery Little Suckers, and that oyster flies across. I always remember it. I don't know. This is slow. This is the slowest record ever, and it's brilliant. It's not like doom or grungy. It's just, I don't know, crystalline guitars. It's slower than a milk truck reversing in glue, and I know Slint came out around the same year or the year later. This to me is much better than the Slint album. I love this album. Old Things is my favourite, but yeah, it's 8 tracks. That kind of picture kind of sums it up. This lad on glue in bed. It was a fantastic album, this Frigid Stars by Codine. Next up, Kurt Cobain's favourite ever album, I believe. The Breeders. Pod. Yeah, great album. Fantastic. Quite off-putting at first, because it sounds like demos, because it's Kim Deal from the Pixies. She was taking a break. I think she was starting to fall out of the Pixies, and a big inspiration behind Nevermind from Nirvana. That kind of quiet, loud. Although that's not so much on here. Just a brilliant album. Really good album. Got a fairly disappointing cover of "Happiness Is a Warm Gun" by the Beatles, which is my favourite Beatles song actually, probably. And yeah, Breeders by the Pod, and it is a great album. I think it's been reissued. I think you can get it on a reissue, nice and easy. Next up, another one I bought day of release, and I was really disappointed by it. It's Sonic Youth Go, Raymond Pettibon cover, the greatest cover, based on the Moors murders in England. That cover, there's a picture. If you look at an image for the inspiration behind this picture, it's Myra Hindley's sister and her boyfriend, I think, going to court, and that's what he based this on, which is really surreal. But yeah, I was really disappointed by this when it came out, because it sounded a bit poppy and it sounded like a bit of a sellout. And side 1 is hit and miss. Side 2 is kind of what I was looking for, which is Sonic Youth using a bit of noise but going pop. And side 2 is the great one. Disappear, Cinderella's Big Score, Titanium Expose. Yeah, I've grown to love this album over the years, and sometimes it might be my favourite Sonic Youth album. Maybe that or Evo. Not sure. Next up, and we're down at number 3, I believe. People's Instinctive Travels and Paths of Rhythm by A Tribe Called Quest. Again, I bought this when it came out. I sold my copy actually. Again, it was a single disc. It went on. Fantastic. This just a notch below De La Soul's 3 Feet Iron Rising. Brilliant sampling, funny, humorous, which something that I think hip hop's lacking nowadays a little bit. I Left My Wallet in El Segundo. Superb. Bonita Applebum. Can I Kick It? Luck of Lucian's my favourite. Absolutely superb track, that. Love it. But yeah, I bought the repress. It came out on a double, and they had some terrible remixes, but I thought it would sound good on a double. This actually ain't the best pressing in the world, this. It's not amazing, and I've maybe better than the original, which is one bit of vinyl, but yeah, hopefully they'll whack it out again, because this sounds hit and miss, but a wonderful album, this. Wonderful. My favourite Tribe album. My favourite. Next up, this came out early 1990. I remember buying it. The Chills. Submarine Bells, New Zealand band, indie pop really. Has the opening track is the one, heavenly pop hit. Has ever a song title to actually describe the song so well, because it is the most heavenly pop hit ever. a wonderful album, this. And side 2 is fantastic. There's, apart from Heavenly Pop Hit, there's no real standout tracks, but it's just got a lovely mood and quite liquidy, and yeah, kind of, I just love Heavenly Pop Hit as well. It's just this sort of organ, and it's just so catchy. It's got one of the greatest choruses ever, and again, I think this has been repressed. This is a 1990 copy, which is a little bit worse for wear now, and a terrible bit of vinyl as well. Very, it's by 1990 vinyl was absolutely, you know, as I've said before, they were popping out CDs at 15 quid a go, and the CDs would have been a fraction to produce as this, and this would have cost me $5.99 new, $6.99. So you can see why they were trying to get CDs. But yeah, Submarine Bells by the Chills. And my number one, bit of an obvious choice maybe, but it's Violator by Depeche Mode, where it all came together. I always think of this as the older, moodier brother of New Order's Technique, and wonderful album, and where all their sort of craft work fantasies and gothic fantasies came together there. And of course, it's got the incredible single, which was Enjoy the Silence, which I got on a lovely 12 over there. But it's my number one pick from 1990, Violator by Depeche Mode, and yeah, just a wonderful album. So yeah, thanks for putting up with this. Hope you're all well. Yeah, there's the dream. Take care.